Now, if you would please bow for a short word of prayer before we get started. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we ask that you be with us today as we come together and try to do the work for the county. We ask that all of the county employees be protected and guided and kept safe as they do their jobs throughout the county to help serve our community. We thank you for this opportunity that we live in a country where we can come together, voice our opinions, work on things, and at the same time hopefully be pleasing to you. Please guide and protect each and every one of us that are here today and continue to guide us in the directions that we go. All this I say and pray in your precious name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, first thing today would be our public comment. Do we have people with public comment? Before we get started, because it appears like there are several people for public comment, so I want to keep it to a 2-minute time. There's no need to, actually, I don't know if anybody's here in reference to or your comments are going to be involved in the data center, but obviously there's only two of us again, and at the same time, none of us have really finished our, I would guess, additional information sheets that we're trying to do and our fact finding, et cetera. So there will be no discussion on our end as far as the data center today. We hope to have that put to bed by, I would guess, the middle of November, sometime in our November meeting. Obviously, it's on the hearts and minds of a whole lot of people, but to be quite honest, myself, and I think Mr. Myers, and I know Mr. Jordan, all three of us are really trying to do our studies on both ways. And so there are no, there's no vote that's going to be taken today. And so and it's in reference to that, you may want to save your conversation until we get to that vote situation. And I'm guessing in the middle of November or so, sometime in November at one of our meetings is probably when we'll address that.
And we'll be hopefully moved across the street and we'll have more room for everyone by then too.
Yeah. So just so everybody understood. All right, public comment. Anybody wants to?
So I'm just delivering, I'm here to just serve the same, you guys are on the distribution list of the same affidavit that you got at the area plan meeting, so that's essentially just what I'm here to do. So I'm going to give those to you guys. And then I did want to just say that I know probably some of this is unconventional, or like you haven't maybe seen some of this before, so I'd love to answer any questions. And I'd also love with our commissioners, either individually or you three as a whole, to meet for coffee and discuss some of this one-on-one so that you guys could learn some of this and kind of see what it is, because I think I've recognized, I was just at a whole weekend conference over all of this stuff over the weekend, and there was other people in office, people that are maybe planning to run for office, and then just people. They're learning this information, and you just really realize that you don't know what you don't know, and that things are kind of just running along. And actually, Justice Clarence Thomas last week, I don't know if you guys saw, came out and said, we have orangutans driving the train. Like, we just get on the train and we don't look to see who's driving or where it's going. And he was basically talking about, we need to look back to the foundation. We need to look back to the fundamentals. And that's what all of this is. And so I know I don't think is going to come up and then discuss the data center, but I just want to make a point known that maybe isn't known, is that when people come up and they say, well, I don't want this because it kills the bees, or I don't want this because I don't want this in my backyard. Those people are making a public good argument. And so because our government is instituted for our peace, safety, well-being, our public good, the government can never go against the public good. The government can never go against the public good. And so when people are coming up and they're just saying, oh, this goes against our custom, this goes against, we're a farming community, those people are making that public good argument. So I just want to, just state that. So these are about the public money going for non-public purposes. That's a whole other issue. And again, I'd love to meet with you guys individually maybe and discuss some of this and talk. Would you be willing to do that at some point where we could maybe meet for coffee and go over some of this?
Well, I think, so that you know, it's very difficult for us to meet as three of us together. Actually, even two of us together is difficult, and we'd have to have a public meeting, we have to have a public notice, so one-on-one could be a possibility.
Yeah, would either of you be willing to
Sure.
do that
I-
one-on-one? Okay,
I would.
Again, we're in the process of learning,
yeah,
and so I'm not opposed to listening.
yeah, sure.
You need to know that, some of us have been doing this a long time, regretfully, and, but more than willing to.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I understand it's hard to kind of, it can be hard to go back to the fundamentals, I think, and sometimes it's like, when we said a prayer when you opened and stuff, and I appreciate that. I'm a Christian, and, when Jesus showed Matthew that what he was doing was wrong, Matthew turned from his wicked ways. And I'm trying to kind of show people in office that some of the things that we're doing isn't necessarily the right thing that we're supposed to be doing. It's just what we've always been done. And so that's what I'm trying to kind of show and things like that. So also, I just ask that when you guys get these, to please take the time to actually read them. There's 53 of these, so these are 53 of the people that signed under penalty of perjury to these claims, the people that you represent, and just understand the weight and the seriousness of that before inevitably they'll probably get sent to the attorney who's likely going to say to ignore them. And so I just ask that you know what I mean, please, take the time to read through them. If I email you to set up a time, maybe to get together one-on-one, would you respond to that
Try to,
email?
yes.
Sure, yeah.
Try to? Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
thank you.
So here's these. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else for public comment? Sir? State your name, if you would, please, when you get up, and your address.
Hi, I'm Nathaniel Webb, and I just wanted to comment on the data center. I feel that as far as economic development goes, it's going to do more harm than good. So as far as the factories are concerned, we can already see in the industrial area, there's a lot of litter, a lot of traffic. It's kind of an eyesore. I feel like most people, if they have the choice, they're going to avoid that area. If we build the data center, we're just going to have that taking over more and more of the county. But at least with the factories, there's a productive value that I don't think is going to exist with the data center. I think a lot of the AI business that people are talking up is based purely on hype. I don't think there's much of a tangible value there. And I think in the long run, we're going to scare away people who want to live here with all the eyesores, all the crowding, all the garbage. And in the long run, the fewer people we have living here who really have the means to do so, the means to actually move out here and invest, the more the economy is just going to dry up and turn into a husk. I think there are better ways to develop the economy, attract investments without basically creating a giant eyesore and scaring everybody away. And that's all I have to say on the matter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else for public comment today? Yes, ma'am?
Mary Lynn Peter. Everyone knows I'm pretty outspoken on things. First of all, I want to know where the other commissioners are that are supposed to have been here, because they knew what we were wanting to do. None of them showed up except you two. That's bull crap.
There's only one other.
There's only,
One of the
Yeah, there's
other-
only one other.
Okay, well, where is he? He didn't show up for the last one either, so where's he at? He knows that we've got things to want to talk about. Second of all, this data center has an ADA signed to it. Why aren't they telling us who is going to be the end user of this? Why aren't you concerned about that? It's just like someone wanting to move into your apartment building and say, well, you don't need to know. We're just going to do it. That's wrong. You need to find out who this end user is. Maybe it's Google, maybe it's Amazon, I don't know, but Lebanon, Boone County, they already know it's Google. We don't know. Maybe it's China. Who knows? But I think you guys also need to do some research on this with this Swaim guy. He's not telling us anything but spin stories. So find out some more stuff about this and listen to these people. All these people came out here today to talk about a data center, and we can't because Brewer didn't show up.
Well, first of all, it was never going to be on the agenda even if he was here. We have said multiple times that we're going to do our own research, and that's exactly where we're at. So I appreciate you telling me that I need to do my research, but we've been telling you I want to do my research. There are many things on both sides of the table that need to have my consideration on both sides. So obviously, I respect all of you because you're part of the people that I respect and represent. but I also represent 35,000 other people. So they're not here to voice whether they are or they're against.
Because
So
they're at work.
in my particular case, speaking for myself only, in my particular case, I want to do my research. I want to find out. Some of the things that you have mentioned, I have asked the same question. So, don't criticize us because we haven't done it, because we are, and we're doing just exactly that. So we're trying to take our time and do the right thing.
Okay. The only thing is, for some reason, everyone got the idea that that's what we were going to be talking about today, and that's why they're all here.
That's why I'm here. I didn't know.
People that aren't here are because they're at work. The ones that could come are here for that reason.
It was a concerned citizens thing, Facebook.
I encourage you to,
And they've been, people use it, you guys are using it.
But anyway, that's just.
No, we don't.
But I do ask you to find out who is going to be the end user, because that's not being brought up. It says there's an NDA signed to it. Why? We need to know why. And I don't think it's a good idea to have it. If you're going to build something there, build a factory that's going to employ 100 or more people instead. I mean,
Appreciate your thoughts.
okay? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am?
good job.
I wasn't planning on coming here and talking today. I'm Deb Pearson, and just from some of the things that I've heard say, and hopefully I can remember because I didn't write down any notes, but when we had a one-on-one meeting with, can't remember his name. He's the guy that, he's for the data center and that works for the county and does the, is it Gunyon? He does the, some of the water planning and that.
Okay, that's for the city, not the
Well,
county.
He's a utility person. Anyway,
Still the city.
but what this can do, if it doesn't get approved on the one side, the bigger one, it can go over to the city and they can build a smaller one on the city. And at the last meeting, you guys said that it would be talked about in this meeting because I was here at the last meeting, and it was said that it would be brought up. And I don't know if you have minute notes or not, but I do remember them saying that it would be talked about at this meeting. But we have, how do you get 35,000 people in here to tell you they don't want a data center? I've been going around and getting some signatures from people, and you wouldn't believe the people in this town that do not know anything about a data center. I've seen signs, I don't know what it means. They're working, they have their everyday lives going on, and they do not know what it is, what it's about. Nobody's, other than what you see on Facebook, it's not being talked about. This last couple weeks, I've been looking and I'm not seeing anything. I've joined Franklin Facebook pages to find out what Franklin did to keep it out, and I've been following some of the other counties with White County. They have these groups of people that are a force going out and they're talking about it in their areas. It's not happening here. Nobody from your side, the other side, nobody's talking about it. Nobody's giving out the information so that the 35 or 33,000 people in this town know about it. And the ones that do find out about it and you give them and tell them the sources to look, say, well, they don't want that. So somehow, at one of the meetings, in one of the meetings with Justin, he had said he didn't really care to investigate about it because he was against it, which, hey, I was for that. But what I did tell him at the meeting at the senior citizens place was that you have to learn about it so you know what you're fighting against. And that's what I've done myself. I've had to educate myself. When I first heard about the data center, I have tried to educate myself on what the data center is, what it's going to do, and all the aspects. And I'm still coming up that they're negatives. And Hamilton, Ohio, where Doug lives, and what they're doing, he didn't want to talk about it at his meeting that he had out here, but they're fighting him. They don't want it. you know, he's not going to tell us that. He wanted to talk about the one at Cincinnati or someplace.
I
He's
need
not
to watch the
talking about.
time, so.
Okay, but that's what I wanted to say, that, you know, we need to have something where people can learn about this and know the facts and not just whitewash it. Because,
I want you to know that that's exactly what we're saying to you as commissioners and me in particular. I want to find out both sides. So from the beginning, I have said that I need time to do my research and to do it right for both sides of the table, whether it's one way or the other. And at this point, I don't want to whitewash anything. So it went to the city and then it came to the county. Now it's talking about going back. I can't tell you what the city's doing. I'm worried about the county and what we do. I can tell you that I don't do Facebook. I don't do the concerned citizens. So if you're listening to those dates and stuff, you're listening and watching the wrong dates. You need to watch our agenda because we will post it when we're going to talk about it and the meeting. It has not once been said that we're going to have a meeting today about it or previous. We said from the beginning that we're going to take our 90 days to do our research. And when that changes, I will personally see that it gets on the agenda.
you did say the 90 days, but what was also said was that it wasn't going to be discussed until he was here, and then it would be discussed.
That was true, yes.
And
Last meeting,
And you didn't answer her question, like, where is he at? This is what you guys get paid for. I'm assuming you get paid to be here at these meetings and to conduct them. And when you don't come to the meetings, it's just like Congress taking off and having several weeks' worth of vacation
well, first of
and
all,
getting paid for it. I mean,
at this meeting, we will function without him, and we'll make all the decisions that are necessary one way or the other. This decision was not meant to be to begin with, so he is not missing anything, because I hope sometime in the near future, we will have that discussion and we'll go from there. But at today's meeting, we'll take care of all of the business that the county needs to do just by the two of us. It takes two of us to make a decision, and there are two of us are here.
but
So we're
are
not hurting the
three
county at all.
elected? Why is he not here doing
I
his
can't,
job?
I do not know the reason.
He didn't tell
Could be
you?
an illness, could be, I have no clue. So, and
That's
it's not up
sad.
to me to ask him.
When I was working, I could not show up, I could not just not go into my job.
Okay,
Because
well,
my job was an
I appreciate what you're
important
saying.
job.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Good morning, I'm Susan Gates. I think what really helped a lot of us when we did hear Jordan was that he addressed his concerns. He shared with us his concerns. And that did my heart good to hear our commissioner say, you know, I have some major concerns about this. So it made an affirmation to all of us that, yes, he's concerned. And I think what we're seeing is we understand there's a need for tax, but we need taxes, we need money for the county. And I understand that, and I think that these data centers, they're really appealing to that. I don't like the undisclosure that they're doing. I think anything that's done like that's very secretive. But some ideas have been churning in this head. I'm thinking, why can't we be like Anderson, you know, a horse track, a racetrack? I looked around there, we'd go there a couple times with the family, great family fun. We saw all kinds of people working, you know, it was a fun thing to do, a family thing, and I know it generated lots of money for Anderson area. Another thing, affordable housing is so needed, and I have family that lives in Spur, Texas, and there is a small housing community, a tiny house. They're like 450 square feet for these little houses, and it's generating a lot for the county out there in Spur, Texas. People can afford these small homes. They're looking for small homes, and it's giving a work base, employment base. So I understand the problems, and it's like, here comes these land developers, and well, they're not really land developers. They're trying to take our land and promise all this other stuff. But I want you to know there is a need. I know that you have that need. You want to see money generated, but so I'm praying for the outcomes. Thank you.
Well, to answer your questions real quick, though, don't assume what Mr. Myers is thinking, because I can't assume what he's thinking, and don't assume what I am thinking. Just because we're doing our research doesn't mean I am for or against at this point in time. I'm trying to do my research. I can tell you that some of the questions that you've mentioned, I've had the same questions directly with some other people, including the developer. So don't assume we're not addressing those things, but at the same time, I am also getting letters and people who are for it. So, there is an opposition on both sides of the fence. And so what we get to do is make the decision best at one point in time for our community. And I'm doing my due diligence to know what I'm going to vote for one way or the other. And I can't, I don't want to get into the battle back and forth, because that's not the intent of this meeting today. So
How can we reach you? How can we give you notes or pass you letters?
my
calls?
emails are there, my cards are here.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you get affidavits for and against the data center, you would put it up for a vote. That's how that would work. But there's a maximum of law that only those who are sworn are speaking. So if you're not getting affidavits for the data center, you're only obligated to listen to the ones sworn in the law. This is why I'd love to just talk to you guys about some of this and explain. Some of it.
Again, you're not on the microphone, so I apologize.
I know, just wanted to let you know, so.
And as we've said, there's no, and it was stated in the last meeting that, after the area plan vote, we as commissioners have up to 90 days to make this decision. And probably won't take that long at all, but I'm going to do my due diligence to find out exactly the pros and the cons. What I've said all along, I'm not going to get rushed into this because one side wants this or one side wants that. So,
Can I say one more thing, please?
Make it short.
I will,
because
we're very short. The size matters with these data centers. That data center in Hamilton, Ohio, it's only 15 acres, and it's causing lots and lots of problems. Think of the acreage that they're wanting to do here. Oh, my word. Size matters with this.
And one of the things that's amazing to me, and I get it, I get both sides, so I'm not saying for or against. But when you have a farmer who decides to sell that ground, which is his prerogative to do, that's where the farm begins, is obviously somebody agreed to sell it. I didn't agree to sell it. I didn't want to have that kind of a battle put in front of us to begin with, but some farmer decides to sell his money or sell his land. And I get it, because if somebody came to me and offered me that kind of money and so forth, I'd probably sell too. So, it's a tough decision is what it amounts to. And it's a bad situation to deal with because in my opinion, there's rights and wrongs to it. So, again, I will do my research the best I can. I will try to do what I feel is right, and that's what I was elected for, and I intend to do it.
Can I say one more thing?
No more. We're kind of done if it's okay. I don't want to.
Just the saying the private land thing, they're putting a thing on there for public use. There's just so many, like I said, just me realizing the education that has to take place, it's just like, it just makes me want to pull my hair out. But it's being contracted for public use. You can't just put anything, right? You can't put anything on your property. I mean, you couldn't just
That's why we have.
You couldn't sell your property and put up a brothel
All
or
right,
something,
well,
right?
Let's move on. Is there anybody else that has something else to offer in reference to public comment? If not, we'll move on to the business part then. We did have the extension program, but we've got that resolved, so we can move on then. Liz, you're up.
Good morning. I'm short and sweet this morning. We don't have, I think at your next meeting, we have some stuff due. The only thing I guess generally I was going to note is if people are looking for agendas, those can be found at clintonco.com, or I think the new website is clintoncountyin.gov. And the commissioners post those there. I don't know how often IT gets ours through, but Plan Commission and BZA agendas, we at least send them through to IT. But I know the commissioners and the council, it's pretty religiously updated. So if you're looking for agendas, and then I know we had some people, a number of them that called Area Plan 2 saying, hey, is it on the agenda, this commissioners meeting or not? And we were able to tell them no. So I know someone mentioned working, but there's a lot of people who aren't here because they called and they asked. So I guess I just wanted to say, if you're not sure when it's going to be addressed, it's not a secret, it's just not docketed yet for discussion. You can check the county website for agendas, or you can feel free to call my staff and just ask if we've been informed that we need to be ready to present or not. So.
Make sure those are on like concerned citizen page or when.
No, we have no access, so that's run by private citizens as a private discussion forum on a social media site. That's not governmentally run. And as government entities, like I know for me, I don't have approval to go posting random stuff on Facebook as a person pretending like I'm representing different sides. So you need to come to the governmental sites for that.
Posting different sites, it's just giving information where to look.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking you.
I guess my recommendation would be you as a private citizen, if you're a member of that group, I'm not a member of that group, post that on there for that group. But as a governmental entity, I don't run that
Does
page.
the new website have a hyphen?
So.
Is it Clinton County /I?
No, it's just clintoncountyIN.gov.
Okay.
But also check clintonco.com, because it seems like some things are in each place right now. So I know for us internally, like, we find some places one and some the other. So, but I'd say that would be your number one spot to look for the agenda.
Thank you, Liz.
So I just wanted to give that website, so, thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Campbell?
Good morning, Rick.
Wanted to talk about the traffic study that we did at County Road 300 West and 200 North. They found that there wasn't enough traffic at that intersection to warrant making it a four-way stop. And we've also did some upgrades there at that intersection prior to the traffic study, so we should be okay there. I also had a traffic study done for County Road 600 North and 900 East in Forest. We took out the railroad tracks and tried to square that intersection up the best we could. And some of the people of Forest approached us and wanted us to put a four-way stop up there, and we entertained that idea, and we got the same results, not enough traffic to warrant a four-way stop there, so that kind of ended that. So, and then I wanted to talk about the community crossings for 2026. We had Butler, Fairman, and Cipher come out and ride with us on September 17th, I believe it was. We want to do Krug Road and Freeman Street, our part of Krug Road and our part of Freeman Street. And then we want to go to Circleville and do all the streets in Circleville. They're in pretty rough shape. And we want to do the streets south of the railroad tracks in Hillsburg. Then all of our little towns have got the streets repaved then. Those was the last two towns. And it came in at just over $1 million, so like $1 million and 39,000, something like that, which the state's going to is made it $1 million, but it's only cost us 20% this time. So anyway, we're looking to do those projects, and I'll give it to the commissioners next meeting to sign.
Okay.
We have to have this done by the end of October. That's all I got.
Good.
Okay, thank you, Rick.
Thanks, Rick. All right. Moving on to old business then. Looks like we've got Envoy for the annex payment of $879,493.54. So application for the payment to be released in that amount for Envoy. And I think as maybe now's a good time to just throw this in. Obviously, I think we have a anticipated target date of the 20th of start moving office staff into the new annex. So we're anticipating moving on the 20th. And quite honestly, we have it down that we'll be doing that all the way up until October 31st. It's my opinion that we could get it done by the 21st of October, so we could be able to get that done in one day, if we can get everybody to show up at the same time, right? No. Seriously, though, we have a target date of moving on the 20th, so we're looking forward to
Starting,
moving forward
yeah.
and starting. So anyway, I need a motion so we can pay the $879,493.54 to Envoy.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it. Motion carries 2-0. All right. 2 men in a truck. Obviously, as we just said, we've got a target date for moving, and we've hired what's called 2 men in a truck. And I have their quotes here for the amounts. It looks like each one of us have, or each department has a dollar amount. I'm trying to see where the total dollar amount is, Mr.
Well, we already approved that. We just have to add the.
The bottom one of the circuit court.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like $815 is what is actually added to this.
So I make a motion to approve the revised agreement for the 2 men in the truck,
And
adding the $815.
thank you, sir. Motion carries 2-0. Obviously, we need them very badly. So if anybody else wants to come up and help us move during those times, feel free. All right, new business. Our new business, resolution number 2025-03, transferring property to the Historical Society. Have a resolution where some equipment is going to go from the recorder's office and therefore going to the the Historical Society. So,
Move to approve. That was that,
yeah. So we're simply transferring that property.
yeah, okay, Kylie, good, I'm glad you're here.
New information we just got this morning.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Kylie Mitchell, the recorder, she actually was in last week. She's measured. They cannot get that piece of equipment over there. So we're kind of back to the drawing table. So I am sorry about that. I was pushing it because I wanted to get her to get it
Absolutely.
moved. But they don't have it room for it. So we're trying to find an alternative. So I do want to thank you guys for your help with that. I know Kevin's been on it and Tom Little. So I am sorry, but it doesn't really need approved because they can't take it at this.
Okay.
So, thank you.
All right.
I'll take this off the
Signal
table
9.
then. Okay. Obviously, let's just pull it back. All right. Any other new business? All right, department head reports. Front row seat, amazing.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
We had an amendment to our contract with our supplier for our GPS and alcohol monitoring devices. We were getting nickel and dimed on some shelf costs, some inventory costs. So I got that resolved, got a refund on that, and they just increased our percentage for shelf stock. So that should be eliminated going forward.
Good.
I can get Jerry a copy of the one-page document if you like.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Brett.
We're all racing to get up here today. Okay, Melissa from the Health Department, pardon me. I did send Tom an update last week on our signed PEF grant. PEF is Public Health Emergency Planning. That grant is something we have already been awarded. That was just giving you guys an update that the state did change a little bit of their wording in their non-discrimination clause. There was no change to the grant itself, but just for the record that an update of what we had already received was submitted. An update following our Board of Health meeting from our last time we met. We did designate the 2 required preparedness coordinators for that PEF grant as well. Rodney Wan as our primary coordinator and Karina Martinez as our backup coordinator. These are both required positions in order to receive this grant. This responsibility is on top of their FTE responsibilities. So it will be work above and beyond what they're already doing. These positions hold very specific qualifications. We're really fortunate to have 2 people who are already qualified. In the past, we would go out, we would find a master's prepared person to come in and a student or somebody to come in and be our PEF coordinator for a little while, do the grant, and then leave. And so that's really a waste of our resources. It's losing the talent, right? And so the fact that we have these people here in our, it's a lot of training. There's a lot of meetings they have to attend. There's a lot of certifications they have to maintain. This is kind of how we're reclaiming this. I want to point out that last year, we forfeited $22,000 because we failed to fill the coordinator positions. And so that's why it's one of my top priorities of making sure we have that to move forward. We don't want that red tape to be in our way. So I would ask for your endorsement of both of the Board of Health selections of our primary and our backup preparedness coordinators.
I'll make that motion. to approve.
Motion carries 2-0.
Thank you very much. Also, something a little new from the health department that you haven't heard about before, but I'm always amazed by the fact that people don't know what happens at the health department. And honestly, there's so much of our daily lives that we touch all the time. If you're building a new home, if you're doing, if you have a neighborhood that has disrepair, we work a lot with Area Planning Commission. We're doing public health, but public health isn't just about vaccines and STDs and tuberculosis. It's also about our environment that we live in and the safety of that environment. We have, in the last really month and a half, declared 4 homes in Clinton County as unfit for human habitation. These are based on sanitation needs. It's kind of a long story in terms of what happened with Adult Protective Services, but know that these are people who are in your neighborhoods or who are in, sometimes in the country and maybe just not observed as much, who as we get older or as we deal with mental illness or mental health issues, that sometimes life gets out of control. And so there is a time and a point where we have to step in and say, this is no longer safe. There is maybe not running water, maybe it's excessive trash, or if it's unmaintained heat. So I just want to let you be aware that we have named 4 of those. 3 of those are in Centertown, 2 of those are in Center Township. Both of those are unsanitary condition, not working utilities. One is excessive trash, harborage of waste and vermin. And then also know that we are doing additional follow-up to try to get the services it would take to remediate the situation, whereas all possible. When it's not possible, then we have to hand it off to Liz, and Liz has to continue on with the condemnation process. One of those is in Perry Township as well, and one is, and then there's one in Ross. So it's a widespread issue. I think the more and more we look, the more and more we're going to find, unfortunately. Adult Protective Services is how the state steps in to help. That, as of July 1st, has now been third-partied out to a company in Baltimore, Maryland. And so that's a big change. So for the last, I think it's 40 years, that has been ran under the prosecutor's office. It was kind of like a hub of people who went out and had cases. They would open them when healthcare or even a neighbor would call, just like you would call for CPS. There is APS. So that is now done very differently. We are working on reconnecting with APS to really be sure we know how to best protect the citizens of Clinton County. So that is in progress. I also have, if there are any questions of any of the properties, feel free to reach out, but I'm in communication with Liz.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Seemed like we needed a ticket up there when we come in. Ed Kripe, Clinton County Coroner. If you remember, a few weeks ago, come in here and talk to you guys about putting the door in, that Renee graciously gave us a bay, so everything is like streamlined there. I did get a couple quotes, but however, I spoke with Rick, and Rick has individuals out at his facility, we're going to utilize some county resources, and they can put the door in for us and take care of blocking up the other door for a substantial cheaper amount. So I have no building line item within my budget, so I didn't know if the commissioners would help out with that. It's probably between $1,500 and $1,700 compared to about $7,000.
I've been informed that we have the ability to take care of that small amount. So I'd entertain a motion that we do so, sir.
Oh, absolutely. I'll make that motion.
Have you got it done yet?
Not yet. Rick, I'll get with Rick and we'll get something put together.
Motion carries 2-0.
All righty. Thank you.
Oh,
Oh,
hey,
wait a
and
second, yeah.
before you run off, while you're up there, last week was the Association of Indiana Counties conference down in French Lick, and the 2025 Association of Indiana Counties Outstanding Coroner of the Year award went to Ed Kripe, Clinton County's own Ed Kripe.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So I just want to congratulate you for that.
Thank you. And thank you guys. I mean, you guys enabled us to put the morgue here in the county, which to date we've saved almost $200,000 county's taxpayers' money. So thank you guys and the council for that too.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate your work though, Ed.
Thank you.
Good morning, Renee
morning.
Crick, EMA and Central Dispatch. So I have several things on my list. Let's do some easy ones first. Yesterday I had a meeting with one of the gentlemen that's on our board for the training center facility that we have out at EMA. So he had sent me a list. I told him to make a list and then we would sit down and discuss like needs and wants and different things like that. Daryl, our previous EMA director, was able, out at the center, they were able to complete 3 sides with concrete. I would like to be able to finish that far north side and get that 4th side done. Jeff Rustin is who I met with, and he was going to see if the people that had donated their time earlier in the spring when EMA was able to complete that, they only had to pay for the concrete. And all of the labor was done, donation by some of the firemen that were off duty that came in and did that. And so I would like permission to go ahead and get an estimate. He estimates around $2,000. I do have that in my budget to be able to complete that, and I would like to see that finished as part of the project out there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's well used out there.
It is.
No.
I would like to say last week it was used twice. On Tuesday, Kirkland Fire District 4 and Keystone Cooperative, they did an grain engulfment simulator, and they had approximately 12 firemen from throughout, and also I believe the firefighter 1 and 2 class attended. And then Thursday, sponsored again by Kirkland District 4 and Newell Gas, they did a propane training out there that they had approximately 22 people attend. So, I mean, it is a great investment out there to have that, and I want to continue keeping that utilized and keeping it up. Along with that, I'm going to be looking for a painter. We do have paint that was already purchased by Daryl for out there. Some of the containers have been painted, some of them still need painted, so I'm going to have to find someone to paint. But that needs to be done so that we can continue, preserving that and keeping that kind of rust-free and, so things like that we're working on. And I have a list, and we've had a great discussion. We had a good meeting yesterday, and of course I'm out there all the time, but like he took me inside the container so I could really see, and it's pretty impressive what we have for this area. And they're not having to travel outside of the county. I think the closest one is over at Lafayette Fire near the hospital. So I mean, we can keep all of our responders here in Clinton County utilizing that facility. The other thing on my agenda out there at EMA, sitting in the far northeast corner, we have a 2005 Chevy Malibu with flat tires sitting out there. I checked with Marcia yesterday. Apparently it was donated in 2019 to the county for, I don't know what, training. I would like for us to, it's sitting with 4 flat tires. They do have some cars sitting out there now that the firefighter 1 and 2 class will be utilizing for extrication training. I would like permission for that to be donated to the class, and then they will take care of, Marcia has the title for it, and she found the notes that it was donated in 2019, and there's no reason for it to sit out there and continue to look like a junkyard. If we can, donate that to the class. Jeff said once they utilize that, then that he would make sure that it is hauled off and removed from there. So I'm asking permission for that, since it was donated to the county back in 19, that we donate that to the firefighter 1 and 2 class to be utilized, and then it can be hauled off after it's completed.
Make that motion.
Second for that, I think that's a
Yeah.
great idea to get it out of there and
Yes,
put it to work at the same time.
yes.
And along with that $2,000 to finish the cement, I think that's an extremely good cause.
Yes.
And if you have it in your budget, I would be,
Yes, we do have.
Good.
We do have, so,
Yeah.
yes. Let me check my list here before we move to the final. So last week, I had sent an email to the commissioners regarding a burn ban. We had discussion. I was contacted by Frankfurt Fire Chief Matt Stidham on September 29th, that they were going to be utilizing a burn ban in the Frankfurt Fire territory. At that point, we had only had one burn, and that was an illegal burn, actually on that day that Matt had called me. There had been nothing else in the county at that point. Moving forward, yesterday, I ran a report, and then I also checked again this morning. We have had a total of, as of this morning, since October 1st, we've had a total of 17 fires. 6 of those were grass fires, 9 were illegal burns, and 2 we had just combine fires, which you have. There's no, that has nothing to do with a burn ban. But I did call the National Weather Service today. You know, we were hoping for more rain than this. They think we're going to get 1/10 of an inch, if that. And the next forecast for us in this area is probably not until next Tuesday. I've talked to 5 out of our 7 fire chiefs. They have no issue with a burn ban being issued. You know, sometimes things happen, like a combine, you know, there's nothing they can do about it. It's just heat, and that happens. But the problem is when we have people who set illegal fires, when they're burning in town, as an example, or the towns. You can't burn in town, but people who start fires and then just leave them. So that is the problem, you know, moving forward. So I believe my recommendation is that we do a burn ban, but it's obviously your decision. I know that we did one last year when I was just as dispatch director only. We were having several grass fires, and we had a lot of extreme winds last year as well. But our numbers are up with these. But my recommendation, Carroll County, I talked to Mike Fincher, Carroll County's EMA director, last week. It was on their agenda for yesterday. They did issue a burn ban. The only other one around us is Carroll. Everything else is kind of all along the western part of the state. Tippecanoe is not in Montgomery, but west of Tippecanoe, everybody is, up to White County and over. You know, it's still going to be dry. It's still going to be dry. I don't know if, you know, Tom has to do something and draw up a document. I'm not really sure. I looked at the one last year, and I'm not sure. Jerry, you may have that somewhere, so I'm not exactly sure what needs to be done. I know if you do one, it has to be signed, you know, and approved by the commissioners.
Right, and we had to do that in a regular meeting, so
Yes.
that's why we.
Yes.
After, when you first emailed, there was not we didn't have any issues at that point.
Right, correct.
But I've seen how dry it is, and no more rain than what we've got, and I know that Sunday it was really windy, so I'm surprised we didn't have more problems. So I would be in favor of issuing a burn ban until we get some rain.
just so happens I agree, Mr. Myers, with the burn ban. I think we're at the point where it doesn't look like in the next week or so we're going to really have a whole lot of relief. And my only question is, what type of enforcement opportunities do we have in that? What happens?
I looked at the last one. I mean, typically, if we get any grass fire, somebody calls in an illegal burn, we're dispatching fire, obviously.
Sure.
That's the, you know, I know yesterday in Frankfurt, there was one, I think a bonfire maybe kind of got out of control, or they were burning. Fire was sent, and fire department told them, we're under a burn ban, you can't burn, they put it out. That typically usually takes care of the issue, but I believe, I looked at the last one from last year, and Sheriff, if you remember, I think it's under a county ordinance, and then if a citation is issued by a deputy, if there is an issue, then it has to be cited to come before the commissioners. If I'm missing something, Sheriff, please interject.
You're spot on. The citation, if there's a citation issued, comes back to the commissioners, and the commissioners can assess a fine, and, or just have the conversation and let them have a.
And most of the time, usually the fire department having the conversation with the people usually takes care of that.
It's always documented in the.
Yes, and we have it, correct. We have it documented. Any call for service, we're adding in dispatch anyway, so it's documented.
Do the executive order under that, and then I'll type it up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we need to research that, if we want to wait and like make it for effective tomorrow if we need to, or later today, so that we have time to make sure we
I
have
think
our
we can go
ducks
ahead
in
and
a row.
approve. I think we can approve it today, and obviously we'll have to sign it, but I think if, at
It would
this
be in
point,
effect until it's rescinded by the commissioner.
Okay.
Yes.
And obviously, I will keep you updated if,
Yeah.
as things move forward. So.
We'll plug it in as executive order number 2025-01, and we'll sign it after Jerry gets it put together this afternoon, probably.
All right, okay.
So-
And I will get that sent out. Once I get it from Jerry, then we will get that sent out
Yeah.
to everyone and get it
Motion
posted.
carries
And
2-0.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Finally, I know you're glad to hear me say finally, I am going to leave with you all. So I had reported from EMA that we would be working on our multi-hazard mitigation plan. It is required to be updated by FEMA every 5 years, and we have finally proceeded forward. We're working with the Polis Center out of IUPUI. They are the ones for the last 2 documents. They have done all of that. So again, we're just updating things, and so we have 2 meetings that are required, and it's required for any city, county, the towns will get notice. I've given things, we have law enforcement area plan, I'm going to, the surveyor, the city will have several offices that I will make notice to. We have 2 required meetings, and the first one has been set for November 5th. And I went ahead and scheduled it at the Frankfurt Police Department because I wasn't sure where we would be in transition between here and the new building, and I wanted to make sure we didn't have to change it. So it will be held at the Frankfurt Police Department, November 5th at 1 p.m. And the Polis Center will be there. They will run the meeting. But there are a couple documents that have to be completed by everybody, whoever attends. So, and I will be giving this to you as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll sign it.
There is a letter in there, and then the 2 pages that if someone can fill out to the best of their ability, and then any questions, people can contact me as well on that.
Okay.
And I think other than that, EMA side of things, I don't have anything else. Friday for Central Dispatch, we are hosting another training by the Denise Amber Lee Foundation. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. Google it. It is it was probably the most impactful training I've ever attended over the years. And we have 6 people that will be attending that. And we have others throughout the state that have registered that will be attending that as well. But that is on Friday.
Okay.
Other than that, I am done, I promise, unless you have something for me.
I think you've covered everything
Okay,
I've got.
all right, thank you.
Renee.
Thanks.
Thank you, Renee.
Hi, I had to step up so I can pull Renee in as a stakeholder as well. On the topic of burn bans and just the current situation, I wanted to inform you that we actually do have an ordinance for county that is in preparation. Nash Smith has been working on this for quite some time. I'm not ready to bring that yet. We are still going through the Board of Health, but just on such the appropriateness of the topic, I wanted you to know the city does have a burn ban. The state does have a burn ban. So it applies over the county, but we need to be a little more specific to the county functions. And so right now I have Nash working on probably the second or third draft of it. We are pulling in all the stakeholders. He's working with the fire departments now. And then obviously, he'll be working with Renee in the very near future on that as well. So I just wanted to give you that update. That is an ordinance you will hear coming in the next year.
Okay, great, great.
Any other, Stephen?
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
We have a active shooter training we'll be doing October 17th, 18th, and 19th. So Frankfort Police Department is going to let us use their training room on the 17th for the PowerPoint didactic lecture portion. And then the 18th and 19th will be up at Rossville High School with Dr. Hanna. They've allowed us access to their building for 2 days of extensive hands-on simulation training. So there won't be any sim rounds or anything like that, but we'll be practicing casualty care, working closely with Clinton County Sheriff's Office, Frankfort Police, and Frankfort Fire. So we're really, really excited. And then Renee's team, both with EMA and Central Dispatch, is going to help coordinate all of our communications throughout this drill so that, in the event that we have a disaster, we're all honed in and communicating efficiently. So then we'll be repeating the training on October 31st, November 1st, and November 2nd to allow for all of our staff members to get through the training. And we're working with Frankfort School Corporation to lock in the 1st and 2nd to be able to use one of their buildings. So that's all I have.
Good.
All right, well, thank you, Steve.
Stephen, thank you.
Thank you, great job.
Any other department heads? Okay, moving on then. Commissioners report.
The only thing I'll say is that we both attended the Association of Indiana Counties conference last week, and there was very interesting sessions, and with all the changes being brought down to all of us, we did find out a lot of things, so just appreciated all that information.
Yeah. Likewise, we both attended the same different meetings and so forth, and I thought it was very educational. Had a lot of conversation about data centers, both pros and cons. Had a lot of conversation about Board of Health and the State Board of Health and their initiatives and so forth. So both of those were kind of interesting. Lindsay Weaver, the doctor for the state, which is no relation to mine, but she gave a presentation. One of the things, obviously, is the State Board of Health has really been cut budget-wise in a lot of categories. One particular budget was $105,000, I believe, last year, and it's down to $5,000 this year. And they're expected to continue to maintain the same kind of work, but yet, lost $100,000 in funding this year. So obviously, it's going to be some changes that we're having to work with. So, there's a lot of scrambling going on within the state and the counties. And it was somewhat interesting to hear how the other counties have handled each and every one of those situations. So that's the only thing I have in reference to things also. Well, wait a minute. All right, how about we'll move on to board business then if we have no other reports to make.
Yep.
I got to get my glasses on for this one. Start out with claims today. Friday claims dated September 19th in the amount of $1,235.80. Friday claims September 26th in the amount of $23,150.46. Friday claims dated October the 3rd in the amount of $500,214.25. Friday claims October the 3rd in the amount of $518.98. Biweekly claims for October the 7th were the amount of $454,103.08. And then court claims in the amount of, for the date of October the 7th, $42,560. And the prosecutor's claims September 30th in the amount of $5,000. $3.43. That's a total of claims for all.
Okay. Motion to approve the claims.
And motion carries 2-0. Next is payroll. Payroll dated September 19th, 2025. In the amount.
that. Could you try again?
Once is enough.
Yeah, that once is fine, right? In the amount of $591,041.22. And then payroll September 19th in the amount of $692.48. That's the total of the two payroll claims.
A motion to approve payroll.
Okay. And then our next scheduled regular meeting minutes are, well,
No, that's our minutes, not our
Yeah.
scheduled meeting. Okay.
yeah, that's what I said.
Okay.
Yeah. Our next regular minutes were dated on September the 16th for 2025. And
Okay, motion to approve the minutes.
motion carries. Then our next dated date is October 21st. So our next scheduled meeting, October 21st,
Likely right in here.
and probably right here, unless we move in one day. Not going to happen, I guess, so we'll be here. Any other business to come before the board? I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second, meeting adjourned. Thank you for everybody coming.